People with gender dysphoria need therapy, not surgery.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. At least initially.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that.
But
one.
okay, that's the problem though. The therapy like affirms their delusion instead of, because they go to a trans specialist. Yeah, someone that's gonna, whatever it's called, gender affirming, whatever. So they're just like, it's like confirmation bias. Oh yeah, you have a problem. Oh yeah, you're gonna kill yourself. Like you need to do this instead of
figuring it out,
talking to someone that's gonna just keep it real with them instead of
like you may not be trans. You probably just gay, bro. You just gay. You ain't trans.
Like look at the numbers. Like gosh, I said, oh, I don't even know if I have it, but it's like this this gay dude like made a post about because he was talking about the numbers that like the majority of these people who thought they were trans in their teen years, 80% were just gay.
Yeah.
So imagine all the kids you could save from mutilation.
Facts.
By just letting kids be kids, figure it out. Yeah. Like there's nothing wrong if you're gay. There's nothing wrong if you're a trans, but the issue
we need to
is
figure out if you're actually that and not force it on motherfuckers for the dollar.
I don't.
I've been convinced.
We all agree.
It's potentially both, though.
Yes.
I think everyone with gender dysphoria needs to go through a therapeutic process and mental health care before they make that choice for themselves.
Exactly.
I personally confused a lot of my gender dysphoria for body dysmorphia because no matter how much I feminize my body, till today I still don't feel comfortable in my own body. And now, like looking among like members of trans community, I see that people keep on getting more and more surgeries. The surgeries are no longer affirming. You can just tell that this person is like struggling with body images. I was able to get on estrogen pretty quickly when I was 22, and my mental health declined afterwards, and I attributed it to being still in the wrong body, needing more body modification. I ended up getting sex reassignment surgery. I do believe that transition was sold to
Sex reassignment surgery.
Oh, okay. I didn't understand.
me as a hardware fix for my mental issues that were not addressed. I still struggle with internalized homophobia that pushed me into transition in the first place. I struggle with borderline personality disorder, body dysmorphia, I'm on the spectrum, and I'm ADHD, and I have all those issues that were not helped, and I was still struggling with them after transition, and I still do. Overall, after a few years, I came to a conclusion that I was not in the wrong body, that I'm a gender non-conforming man, and I am a feminine man, that's what I am.
I don't know if you guys
He, she, they.
have heard, but
So
I've had a lot of...
Everything. Gender non-conforming man. But you're a man? I don't fucking know. But at least...
But why can't you just be a feminine man? Why do you have to be a he, she, they? Like, why could you just be but I mean...
But he's presenting as a fucking woman, though.
Right, but detransition, what does that mean?
That they transitioned to
being a woman.
and then they went back.
What'd they do to go back?
I don't know what the fuck they are. So, like, this person...
Since
they made the change and then they changed back. They made a mistake. That's what I think it is. That's what it is. I'm just...
That's what he or
like,
she
this motherfucker
saying.
was a man and went back to a woman. Born a woman, went to a man and went back to a woman. I'm not sure with these two.
But no, he or she is just had the sex... They're a man, had a sex change surgery, became a woman, and now they just no longer identify as the woman. So that's detransitioning, because you can't undo the damn surgery. You can't stick a dick back on there.
Nah. You probably can. It's just going to be weird.
I don't know what I just pictured in my head. And now
in their head, they came to peace with that they're a fucking man. They just don't identify with a gender.
But there are a lot of men who are more feminine. That's all right. Or who are gay. Or like, why?
But would you call this person a feminine man? You got titties.
I'd call them confused. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to really figure out. Like, there's nothing about you that screams man, but you're a man. Feminine. That's confusing as fuck.
I mean, maybe he or she just accepted that they're a man reality, and then they're just like,
they just gender conforming men, non-gender conforming, whatever the fuck they said. They just show whatever the hell they want to show.
Binary trans people say that it's not a mental health issue. Like,
it is.
If you're trans, and I know I don't agree with that. Like, I think there's a disconnect between the mind and the body. I guess I'm asking that. Like, do you think that it's a mental health disorder? And
I don't
needs to
think
have
being
therapy?
transgender is a mental health
disorder.
disorder. I think,
Gender incongruence is what they're referring to it as now. It's
Which is
listed
a
as a
fucking
sexual health
mental health
concern, but the
organ.
gender dysphoria, which is the symptom that arises when you are transgender, is a mental health concern.
So maybe I'm thinking of like that's what I'm.
What? Okay, I'm
So the
glad
confusion that you have,
is
if you don't feel like you're in the right body, so that's gender dysphoria. But once you came to peace with what's going on, you don't have gender dysphoria anymore, so you don't have a mental health issue. That's what they said.
I guess I was confused.
That
That's
it
what
makes
sounds
sense.
like.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
but
like when you're confused, that's
like
but
if
then
your
once you've
brain doesn't
chosen-
align with what you got going on physically, that's
You
gender
have gender
dysphoria. But
dysphoria,
once you come
which is
into
a mental illness.
yeah, once you come to terms with it, you or accept it or whatever the fuck, you don't have that no more.
Well, you still have it, right?
Yeah.
Because you're still not in the right.
But do you
sex
have
that
gender?
you feel.
Do you have gender dysphoria if you have transitioned and you're comfortable now? Do you still have gender? Do
Oh
you still
yeah, I
have?
see.
Do you still have it?
Oh, that would be a good question to ask.
Mm.
I don't know. You'd hope that would solve it because that is so much work and money and so much.
But then
to
my
go
thing
through.
is, like, you may feel, okay with how you are now, but you think that you're a woman, but you're not a woman. That's a mental health issue.
There's still a dysphoria.
Yeah.
Like there's still
Yeah, like you may be okay with how you are now, but you're still not what
like you identify with how you feel or
Yeah.
whatever, but
You're not what
biologically
you are. Yeah.
that.
So I still think.
But I
it's-
feel like if you know that, that's okay, right?
Yeah.
If you're like, look, I was born a man, but I feel like a woman, so I identify as a woman. Like,
Yeah,
but you like are
you still have a
realist-
mental health issue. Though.
Yeah, you're not like I'm a woman. Like
Yeah.
I'm a trans woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I see where she's
Well, if you
saying, like, she
identify
doesn't
as
feel,
a trans woman, you know you're a trans woman. Then okay, that makes sense.
right? It's
You're
like,
cool.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
you know what it is.
Yeah.
But I bet some people still consider that like you're still mental.
Yeah. But I mean, I'll be all right with that.
I'd be alright with that too.
Trying to say then in a
Right.
sense.
And then
Yeah.
once you are diagnosed with gender dysphoria, and I feel like this is kind of what the prompt is kind of hinting at, if you do have gender dysphoria, the only treatment for that is transition. Whether that be just a social transition, a medical transition, whatever transition fits you, that is the only way to heal your gender dysphoria.
And I think a lot of us go through medical transitions to easier go through social transition.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. And so a lot of our folks that do transition and may detransition, both experiences are valid, but also understanding that we're not mentally ill because we're trans,
Yes.
right? And I think that there should be a psychiatrist or someone within behavioral health to be able to say, okay, you're in the right frame of mind to make this decision. But I want to just make it very clear that trans people are not dealing with mental health because they're trans.
Absolutely.
I disagree. I feel like transgender is definitely, and elderly trans people afford for it to be classified as mental illness, so it's covered by insurance. Otherwise, why are you getting the surgeries to?
Because
but
of
if it's not a
dysphoria.
medical condition?
The dysphoria is a medical condition.
It is, but it's in your head. I would say that you have some kind of mental disorder if you're trying
right.
to mimic a stereotype of opposite sex to
Right, but
pass
it's
in
not a
society.
mimic. It's
The treatment
aligning.
for this mental illness is to transition.
I have a question though,
Yeah.
because I have a gender dysphoria diagnosis. I always have. But I'm still where I am today.
Can I give you my honest opinion? I think that you were probably misdiagnosed.
I
and
don't think I was.
So you
Do you
do
feel
have gender
dysphoria in your body?
I certainly do now.
Yeah, me too.
Well, yeah.
Because of the
you
changes that you made.
want to talk about now, but at the time,
At the time, did you?
I genuinely believed I did. I thought it would save me. And then looking back, I realized that my dysphoria stemmed from some severe trauma that was not handled.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's why I think that mental health step is so important.
Yeah,
Because I've heard this from several other, mostly female detransitioners who we had some form of pretty bad trauma that spawned gender dysphoria symptoms.
Yeah.
I'm glad
And we
he's
can
saying
diagree
that
about
this
this
dude that
diagnosis
turned
and
to a
something
girl
but
that's
that
now-
it felt
is
real
still
at
a
the time
dude.
for me.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it did. I didn't mean.
But I don't know what the hell they are right now.
But by the voice,
Yeah, it's a dude.
It's a dude.
Born a man. But it's
looks
presenting as a woman.
As a
though.
woman, but says detransition.
Yeah,
So see, that's just confusing.
yeah,
I don't know. You'd think you'd start presenting as a man, but maybe it's too late. You
yeah,
can't.
yeah.
But no, like he's got makeup on. I don't know. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I know. And it's one of those things where that's where the mental health treatment really needs to come in and get to the root
I
of
agree
that
with all
issue
of that.
because
So
oftentimes,
this isn't like,
specifically with
I
the
wanna hear
detransitioners
motherfuckers
I've
say
talked
crazy
to,
shit about kids and
that was ignored.
women aren't
I
women.
came out to my parents in a
some
mental
smoke for
health
them.
facility
Yeah.
after
I'm cool
telling
with
the
these people.
therapist that I thought I was transgender. And she told me we had to tell your parents so that way you can get the help you need. It led to me seeing a gender therapist who, honestly, the issues I was facing were never addressed. To this day, no one ever addressed the fact that I had severe trauma and exploitation going on as a young teenager. Instead, I was kind of just affirmed in, you believe this, and instead of even just a little pushback, it led me to the point where the very first medical intervention I ever had was a double mastectomy at 16. A few months after that,
So born a woman.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense then. See, I feel like an asshole. I'm sorry. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
started testosterone because it was the next step of what I was supposed to do.
Fucked up.